My little brother tackled our aunt into the pool and I could not stop laughing. "Take that, you sneaky goblin." That's what I heard right before I stepped onto the back patio. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My 8-year-old brother Theo stood triumphantly at the edge of the pool, while our Aunt Cordelia flailed in the shallow end, mascara streaming, her designer sun hat floating away like a tiny defeated boat. Theo turned to me with the biggest grin I'd ever seen and said, "I defended the kingdom, sis. The goblin's been vanquished." He pumped his little fist while Aunt Cordelia sputtered and shrieked, "You little animal! Are you insane? This child belongs in an institution." She pointed a dripping manicured finger at Theo, who looked completely unbothered. "I'm calling the police. I'm calling child services. This is assault." I reached to help her out, but she smacked my hand away. "Don't touch me. You've raised a feral creature. The two of you, living in this house like you're owed it." My confusion mounted as Theo started doing a victory dance. "I get a treasure chest for protecting the castle from the goblin," he declared. "The wizard warned me she was the real enemy." I grabbed his shoulders. "Theo, what wizard? What are you talking about?" He looked up with those innocent brown eyes. "The one who's been telling me about the goblin who wants to steal our castle." "Theo, this is serious," I said, kneeling to his level while Cordelia hauled herself out of the pool, squelching. "You know how Aunt Cordelia's always been jealous of our house, right?" Theo said, suddenly sounding older than 8. "She says things like it should have been hers, not ours." I nodded slowly, remembering the bitter comments at every family gathering since our parents passed and left us the house 2 years ago. "It should have been mine," Cordelia spat, wringing out her sleeve. "A 23-year-old playing house with her baby brother. What do you know about family legacy?" Theo smiled like this was exactly what he'd been waiting for. Then his face went serious. "So, I was chasing the goblin around the study, right? The one who keeps making sneaky noises. And that's when I saw her." I was about to correct him about the old radiator when he kept going. "She was at Dad's desk, sis, with papers. Lots of important papers. And she had that little bottle of whiteout stuff and a pen, and she was writing on them really fast." My blood went cold. I looked toward the open study door. "She kept looking at the driveway like she didn't want anyone to see," Theo said quietly. "So I remembered what Coach says. When someone's about to do something bad to your team, you stop them. So I ran at her full speed and," he clapped his hands together, "cannonball, right into the pool. Knights don't let goblins steal the treasure map." I turned to stare at Cordelia, whose face had shifted from red fury to pale panic. I walked into the study. On the desk was a scatter of documents, our parents' property paperwork, the deed, estate files that were supposed to be locked in the cabinet. Several had fresh ink over the original text. Cordelia's name had been penciled and inked in over ours in more than one place. A half-finished corrected ownership form sat right on top, with a forged signature drying at the bottom. She'd been trying to doctor the inheritance documents, forging changes to make it look like the house was legally hers, planning to file them with the county before anyone noticed. I came back out holding the pages. "You were forging the deed to take the house out from under us." The silence was deafening. "You can't prove anything," she stammered, backing toward the gate. "It's the word of a delusional child against mine." But we could all see it. The altered documents, the forgery pen still on the desk, the cabinet she'd pried open sitting wide behind her. Cordelia suddenly bolted for the side gate, heels clacking across the wet patio. "You can't prove anything!" she shrieked again. But in her panic, still dripping and half blind with runny mascara, she didn't see Theo's skateboard lying across the walkway. Her heel caught it, her arms windmilled, and she sat straight down into the kiddie pool with a magnificent splash, the sun hat finally settling gently onto her head. I stood there in shock as Theo raised both fists to the sky. "The goblin is defeated. Amen." The forged documents were enough. A lawyer and a handwriting examiner made short work of them, and Cordelia's little scheme fell apart completely, along with any claim she'd ever pretended to have on our home. Theo still tells people he saved the castle from a goblin with a treasure map. Honestly, he's not wrong. And I bought that kid the biggest toy treasure chest I could find. He earned it.